Fabula Fellowship, it's a cohort of community members who applied and came together to tell personal stories about privilege and oppression. Especially if you are a white person, it's really easy to just not think about race. And it can be very difficult to talk about it. Of all the metro areas, Milwaukee is the most segregated. So if we're gonna thrive as a community, it's really crucial that we learn to do something about this problem so that all the people in our city can thrive and can contribute.
I got hired because of race at that job when I was the director, didn't I? Because clearly that person who had to do the final approval, that woman who asked me to fire the black lady, was the same woman who had done final approval on my hiring. All she cared about was skin color.
Dude, I just got hit. It hurts. Was it because I'm Asian? Was it because I'm an immigrant? You know, this kind of made me feel like when I was took me back to when I was 10 years old, who had just arrived in the United States, not speaking a word of English, in the back of my parents' restaurant, watching some customer berating my parents over something I don't understand.
Earlier, when I was applying for a job, at one point I was confused about the process and asking her questions, and she said, "Why bother? You don't stand a chance anyway."
The only reason I was taken off that assignment was because I was black. That's it. I asked my manager, I said, well, if I'm getting all these great reviews about my performance, what do you think is the reason why I got taken off the assignment? And she said, without a bat of her eye, Blanche, I think it's because of racism.
When people hear stories, they gain a deeper understanding of the problem. We have 10 interactive outreach performances, and we call them interactive because there's always a storytelling component, but then there's also always like a reflection component and a dialogue component.
What is the best way to inject a sense of urgency into our dialogue?
Change happens on a relationship level. That if you reach out to one person and you work with them to change their attitudes, to get them to think differently about the topic of race, to get them to understand the idea of privilege and get them to hear the stories, I think that makes change.
Everyone has stories that are worth sharing, and that Ex Fabula likes to create spaces where people can tell their stories, where they can listen to stories, and where they can connect with each other meaningfully. We see people walking away feeling less alone, feeling more connected, and more positive about humanity.